Hey, fifth graders. Clearly, I'm not here with you today, but I thought I would pop on. I don't want to get too far behind because I missed you last week for Veterans Day Observance Day. So I am going to just hopefully let you go ahead with this new project and hopefully you'll be fine. I think you will be. Couple things to keep in mind. I want you to make sure you're working with a partner from your table today. So after you watch this video, you should know exactly what you need to do and the supplies that you're going to need. I'll run down really quick. You and your partner are going to share a paint palette. You're going to share a water cup, but you will each need your own paintbrushes, thin paintbrushes preferably, and you'll all need a paper towel as well. So make sure you have those things. You should not need a messy mat today. Everyone is going to need a copy of this star. You're doing your own. So you and your partner are sharing a paint palette, but you each have your own star to complete. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Oops, that's not what I want. I'm going to share my screen with you and hopefully we'll be on our way here. Okay. So our final project is going to look something like this. Today you're working on the shaded star portion or a value star. So this star that I did here, it's using a full color. So a natural color out of the bottle, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. You may substitute the blue for purple if you'd rather purple, but the rest of the colors should be the same. Anyway, one natural color, and then this star is showing you a tint on the other side, the lighter side. That's the tint of the color. When you make a tint of the color, you add white to the color. This star that I completed, if you look at this guy, you'll notice that I used purple instead of blue. And this time I did use a tint. I added a little bit of white to that natural color, but not as much. And then the other one is the shade, and that's when I added just a teensy bit of black paint. The one that I'm going to show you over here, this one is going to be the natural color and the shade and no tint. So you're going to have to decide if you want to create a tint and a shade, or just a shade. And I know that might get a little bit confusing, but I think you'll get it once I show you this. So you and your partner are sharing this paint palette, but you can have, actually you and your partner will share one of these clean palettes too. It will not be clean when you leave. When you leave here today, this paint palette should have the cover back on it because it really shouldn't have gotten messy if you're following directions correctly. Okay. So first of all, if you take a paintbrush out of the water cup, please make sure you dry it off. You don't want any water in these paints. So if you're going to be using the natural color, you're going to just take it right out of the palette. You are going to go ahead and paint all of these areas on the left or the right hand side. I chose the left hand side. It does not matter. You have 5 sections since it is a 5 pointed star. So I have a little bit of a bigger paintbrush just to save a little bit of time. Your paintbrush should be a little bit smaller than mine. So once I paint that section, if you're using a natural color, you're going to then paint all of the natural edges. So because I'm going to then go to my next color. And as long as you're doing somewhat color wheel order, that's all that I ask. So I'm going backwards. I'm doing red to purple. Then I'll go to, nope, I'm going to skip blue. To green, to yellow, to orange. Oops. And these are going to get cut out later, so don't worry too much if you go outside of that line. The line that is most important is that center line there. Okay, so I would keep going. I would do green here, yellow here, orange here. You only have 5 points. We are leaving out one of the colors, and preferably that is blue or purple. So I'm washing my brush and I am drying my brush. Now, on this guy, I did tints. So what I would have you do is I would have you take a scoop of your regular color, your natural color, scoops of those, wash your brush, and then take 1 scoop of the white. and mix those together. So if you want your star to look like the sky, you would put the tints on the right-hand side. Does that make sense? If you want to do a star like this, one side is going to be the tint as well, and one side is going to be the shade. Okay, so that's what the tint would look like. If you're going to do the shade, wash and dry your brush. I'm going to take, again, 1, 2 scoops of my natural color. And then what you want, can you see this? I don't know if you can see this. You're going to take the teeniest little dip. Can you see that teeny little dip? Teeny little dip to mix with your natural color. That teeny bit of black is going to go a super duper long way. So you mix that up. When you're working with your partner, have one of you do the first color and one of you do the second color and so on. So then I'm going to put my shade on the other side. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my purple. And I'll just show you those two and then I'll move on. Wash and dry your brush. When I do my purple, just remind you I'm going to do. So since I'm only doing shades, I can do it here. I'm going to do 2 scoops of purple. And then 1 tint. I don't know if you can even see the black on top of the purple. Can you see that? The black. No, it's too hard to see. It's too dark. But just a teensy bit of black. And that was almost too much. That made it super dark really quickly. It's going to be really dark on my paper. It will still be a shade of purple. So I'll still be able to tell there's a purple there. But it will be quite dark because I did more than a tiny little bit of black. If you have a really small paintbrush, you might want more of the natural color. You might need to just take more scoops, not of the black, but of the normal color. I just want to show you what happens with like orange, because orange is one of the lighter colors. So if I take orange over here and I put orange in my palette, I'm going to take a few scoops of orange. Watch what happens when I add a little teeny bit of black. I'm going to take just this much. See how much I have there? Just a teensy weensy bit. Well, okay. Teensy weensy bit. When I mix it with my orange, look how dark I get. Do you see how dark that is so quickly? It's like brownish. Anyway, so that's going to be my shade of brown. Nope, shade of orange. Try to stay in those lines as best as you can. And then do you remember what's on the other side? It's just my natural color. That's what I chose to do. But can you do a tint of orange? You definitely can, as long as you choose the same thing on every point of your star. So if I'm doing all natural colors on the left, they have to be all the natural colors. If you're doing all tints, they all have to be tints. You can't just pick and choose. If you do both tints and shades, it will take you longer to finish because you'll be mixing 2 sets of colors. So again, I did tints, 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 tints. And then I did shades, 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 shades. On this one, I did natural, 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 natural color, tint, 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 tint. Here I did natural color, natural, 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 shade, shade, shade. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Do your best. Again, this palette should remain rather clean. So you should be able to put the top back onto that and save that for me. If for whatever reason it's a mess, you can wash that out at the end of class. This palette, I'll put some sponges in the sink. You can help Miss Moore wash those out so she doesn't have to do all of those, but those should be washed out before you leave. So just remember to get started picking up at, oh my gosh, it's 3:10 already. Definitely start picking up maybe like 3:04 or so, 3:05 at the latest, so that you can get these stars on the drawing rack. By the way, get that name on the top of there or on the front page. Since these are going to be cut out, just put your name right here. Get those names on there. Get those names on there as soon as you go to your tables. Get your names on there. Those can go on the drawing rack, and then pick up after yourselves, please. Okay, that's all. you guys have a great weekend and hopefully your stars will be done when I see you next week. If not, if you need time, I will give you time. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.